Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of The Awesome C.O.D.Y. As usual, I'm your host, C.O.D.Y, and today we are continuing February of 2021's theme of awesome nostalgic comedies. So, for the folks who haven't been keeping up, or this is the first time checking it out, the first week of February, I talked about Groundhog Day, because it was the week of Groundhog Day. Then last week, I did My Blue Heaven, and this week, I'm talking about My Cousin Vinny. If you want to watch ahead, next week, I'll be talking about Top Secret. So My Cousin Vinny, everybody should watch this movie, first off. It's a goddamn classic. My Cousin Vinny is an American comedy film directed by Jonathan Lynn from a screenplay of Dale Launer. I'm just kidding, I'm just reading off the thing. It is released in 1992, has a bunch of really good names in it, created by the writer and the director, two dudes that made a bunch of amazing stuff, and actually... I'll go over what they are, and I'll tell you about some of my favorites in there, of course. So, My Cousin Vinny, like I said, is directed by a gentleman named Jonathan Lynn. Jonathan Lynn has a few notable credits to his directing queue. He's also he did some acting. He did some screenwriting. He co-wrote a couple books, did producing of a bunch of different stuff. But the big thing is his directing. He directed a bunch of good movies, some of them which are actually I enjoy a lot, but there are a couple standouts, one being My Cousin Vinny. The first movie he directed was Clue. Yes, if you've ever seen the 1985 black comedy mystery film based on the board game Clue. He directed that, and he actually collaborated on the script with John Landis for that movie. And one day I'll talk about that movie because that movie is fantastic in so many different ways. But it's really good, and you should check that out too. But that's not what I'm talking about this week. So, not only did he direct Clue, but he directed Nuns on the Run in 1990. Nuns on the Run is a British comedy. Not too many people have seen it, but it has Eric Idle from Monty Python in it. It's pretty funny. 1992, he did My Cousin Vinny. Same year, he actually released another movie called The Distinguished Gentleman, which actually has Eddie Murphy and another actor from My Cousin Vinny. Lane Smith, which I'll get to, or Lon Smith. I'm not too sure how to pronounce it. I think it's Lane Smith, but we'll get to him in a minute or so. He also directed Sergeant Bilko, which is a comedy movie based on a television series from the 50s, and had Goldie Hawn in it and Steve Martin, Dan Aykroyd. Not Goldie Hawn. Oh my God, what is her name? Steve Martin in it, has Dan Aykroyd, Phil Hartman. What is the lady's name that's in this? Hold on. Not Goldie Hawn. Oh, yeah, Chris Rock is in it, too. Glenn Headley. Jeez. Wheeze. I don't know why I said... I don't know why. I said... Goldie Hawn. Anyways, so that's Distinguished Gentleman. Sergeant Bilko. Then he also did The Whole Nine Yards with Bruce Willis, and Matthew Perry, Amanda Peet, Michael Clark Duncan, someone else in that, I can't think of who they are. The Fighting Temptations, which was released in 2003, which I did not know was an MTV film, but that's pretty cool too. And has a bunch of people in it. I can't remember who all's in that one. But yeah, so that's the movies he made. He made a bunch of good ones, including Clue, which one day I will find a way to talk about. Maybe I'll do Tim Curry movies. Yeah, maybe. Anyways, because that brings me to another movie I could do that has someone else in this that's on this list too, which I'll talk about in a minute. It's a good idea, C.O.D.Y. You probably won't remember that. Thank you, C.O.D.Y. You're probably right, I won't remember it. Anyhow, next up, the writer Dale Launer. Dale Launer has a pretty short career in writing, but actually has a couple good ones. Ruthless People, from 1986. Ruthless People, fantastic movie, directed by David Zucker. Well, actually, directed by 3 different people: David Zucker, Jim Ambrose, or Abraham. Oh my gosh, I cannot talk. Abrams, I believe is how you pronounce it, and Jerry Zucker. So, for the folks who don't know who that is, or who those gentlemen are, so I talked about them before on this here podcast. Let's see. Let's go to. He is. The 3 of them are the writers and directors known for Airplane, another movie I'll be talking about next week. Top Secret, Naked Gun series, Basketball, the Scary Movies 3, 4, and 5, I believe, like that, things like that. They've done a bunch of satire movies throughout their career, and they're fantastic. I talked about them a couple months ago when I talked about Airplane, which led me to wanting to talk about Top Secret, which I finally got to this month, which you will hear next week's podcast, or if this is in the future and I've already done that one, it's the next podcast after this one. And check that one out because it's pretty funny and the movie's hilarious. Anyhow, so Ruthless People is amazing. You should check that movie out too. But I digress. It's got Danny DeVito in it, Bette Midler, Judd Reinhold, Helen Slater, Bill Pullman, someone else is in that one too. He also wrote, obviously, My Cousin Vinny. He wrote Blind Date with Bruce Willis and Kim Basinger. I can't talk. And then one of my favorite Sandra Bullock movies of all time, Love Potion Number 9. Love Potion Number 9 is a comedy movie from 1992, the same year My Cousin Vinny came out. So this dude's like right there, you know what I mean? I say that he did nothing between 1988, or had nothing come out between 1988 and 1992. But anyhow, Love Potion Number 9 has Sandra Bullock and Tate Donovan in it, both amazing, and the movie's fantastic, and you should watch it. It's really funny. Anyways, yeah, that's Dale Launer. He's done a bunch of good stuff, and you should check them out because Ruthless People is amazing. Blind Date's pretty funny. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, which is hilarious. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, directed by Frank Oz, has Steve Martin, Michael Caine, Glenn Headley, which is who I was talking about earlier about Sergeant Bilko. So many good people in that movie, and just the movie is just hilarious in general. You should check it out. And of course, My Cousin Vinny and Love Potion Number 9. Starring in My Cousin Vinny is Vinny Gambini, is played by Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci, of course, most famously for probably many things, but the Home Alone series, really just 1 and 2. Lethal Weapons 2, 3, and 4, because he was Leo Getz in those movies. Fantastic role. One of my favorite movies he's done called The Super, which no one ever really heard of, which is a year after Home Alone. He was in Goodfellas. He was in A Bronx Tale, Casino, the original Man on Fire adaptation, not the one with Denzel Washington, but the other one. Raging Bull. He's been in a bunch of different movies throughout his career, and you should check him out. That's Joe Pesci. Oh, and he was in The Irishman 2 years ago, that super long Netflix movie that spacing on name Martin Scorsese did. So yeah, it's Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci's amazing. Next up is Ralph Macchio. Ralph Macchio, actually, let's see. I shouldn't put Ralph Macchio next. Marissa Tomei is actually who's next. Because Marissa Tomei is literally the second lead in this movie. And I don't know why she's listed third on this list that I found from Wikipedia, which needs to be corrected because she's definitely the secondary. She's on the fucking poster with him, for Christ's sake. If you look at the movie poster for My Cousin Vinny, there's 2 people front and center in the poster. 1, Joe Pesci. 2, Marissa Tomei. So why is she not the second billing on this movie? Explain that to me, huh? Wikipedia, get your fucking facts right. Anyways, Marissa Tomei plays Mona Lisa Vito, who is the fiance to Joe Pesci's cousin, Vinny Gambini. Mr. Tomei has been in a bunch of things. One, which I will be, if I'm going to do a Tim Curry movies, you can't leave out Oscar because he's in that, and the movie's fucking amazing, and I can't believe I've never talked about that on this podcast before, but Oscar is one of my favorite movies of all time, and it's fantastic, and it's ridiculous, and everyone should check it out, but I will talk about that another day. But she was in Chaplin, Only You, 4 Rooms, let's see, what other big ones? King of the Jungle. I don't know why I laughed at that one. It's a ridiculous movie. It's not great, if I remember correctly. She's in the new Spider-Man movie. She plays Aunt May in the Spider-Man movies, May Parker. Did they actually? I don't think. No, they refer to her as her aunt because Tony's like your hot aunt or whatever. Or someone. I don't remember if someone says that, but yeah, it plays Aunt May in the Spider-Man, or May Parker in the Spider-Man movies. As well as Captain America: The Civil War, because she was first featured in that one. And then probably going to be in the other ones too. Maybe at one point. Television-wise, she's done a bunch of different things. She was on an episode of Seinfeld, Saturday Night Live. She has done. She was on 5 episodes of Empire, that show on Fox. She was on Rescue Me for a couple episodes. She was on. What are the big ones on there too? Handmaid's Tale. She was in that one. She was in an episode of that one. That was pretty cool. Did a bunch of stage plays too. None that I can really say I've ever really heard of or seen before, but I know she's done a bunch of those. But yeah, it's Marissa Tomei. She's fantastic, and I will talk about her again when it comes to Oscar, because she's awesome. Tim Curry's awesome. They're both in that movie, and so is Sylvester Stallone. I love that movie so much, and I'll talk about it later. Boom. Next up is Ralph Macchio. Ralph Macchio, of course, famously known as the Karate Kid, both back in the day and, of course, now. Ralph Macchio plays Bill Gambini, who is the cousin of the titular cousin Vinny. And Ralph Macchio's done a lot of different things. Early life, he was in The Outsiders, Karate Kid in the next year, a movie called Teachers. He was in Crossroads, the guitar movie, Karate Kid Part 2, Karate Kid Part 3, My Cousin Vinny, obviously. Secret of NIMH, he did a voice in that one. Secret of NIMH 2, sorry, not the first one. He was in Beer League with Artie Lang and a bunch of other people, but Artie Lang's like one of his things that he did, I should say. He wrote it and produced it and was also in it. Artie Lang, not Ralph Macchio, but Ralph Macchio was in that. Of course, he was in the Psych movie because he was in 2 episodes of Psych. It's 2 different characters, which is pretty funny. It's a whole different story. He's been on Entourage as himself. He was in Ugly Betty. He was on an episode of Law & Order Criminal Intent. Like I said, he was on 2 episodes of Psych. He was on. He played himself on How I Met Your Mother, because there's an inside joke about Karate Kid and Johnny. Oh my God, what is his name? William Zabka, right? Yeah, William Zabka being the actual hero of that movie, which is hilarious. Obviously, he's in. He plays Danny Russo again in the TV/internet show Cobra Kai, where he it's a continuation of the film series The Karate Kid, which is I heard is pretty funny. Yeah, that's Ralph Macchio. Ralph Macchio's been in a lot of different things, and he's it's pretty funny. It's a Karate Kid, man. You can't fucking forget Karate Kid. Next up, Mitchell Whitfield. Mitchell Whitfield plays Stan Rothenstein, who's the counterpart, or not counterpart, but best friend and co-defendant in this movie, alongside Ralph Macchio's Bill Gambini. He's done a lot of different things. Not a bunch of big things, but he was actually in Sergeant Bilko, which I mentioned earlier. He was in. He's done a lot of voice work on different things, a lot of TV shows, like the Angry Beavers. He did a voice on that one. He did a voice on. Let's see some of the big ones I was looking at earlier. A bunch of Green Lantern show, Transformers, a bunch of different random stuff. He did the voice of Donatello in the 2007 TMNT animated movie, the one with Patrick Stewart and. Is that the one Chris Evans was in, right? Played Casey Jones, I believe, in that one. It's a really good movie. It's cool because it's actually technically they try to make it part of the original trilogy Turtles movies that came out in the early 90s by actually having artifacts, including the lantern from the worst of the three movies, Turtles, the time travel one, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. And so that's pretty cool, too, if you didn't know that. Fun times. Yeah. But, yeah, that's Mitchell Whitfield. He's been doing a lot of stuff, a lot of voice work, a lot of ones and twos stuff. But it was in Sergeant Bilko, so, that's pretty cool. Next up is Fred Gwynne. Fred Gwynne plays the judge in this movie, Judge Chamberlain Haller. I think it's Howler. I should know. I literally just got done watching this movie. He is the judge that presides over the case, and he has been a lot of different things. He is Herman Munster in the Munsters movies, TV show and movies. The two movies? Munsters Go Home and Munsters Return? Return. What's the other one? Munsters... I don't know what was the name of the second one. I don't know why I'm asking. Like, there's someone else here with me. I am alone in this room right now. Oh my God, what was the second one called? I want to say Returns or Revenge. I can't remember. It's not Revenge. It's Returns. I think it doesn't matter. But he was also in Pet Sematary. He was in. He's been in a bunch of different stuff. I don't know why I just said those, but those are the two bigger ones. Fatal Attraction was in that one. Cotton Club, Offbeat, The Boy Who Could Fly. The Secret of My Success with Michael J. Fox, Helen Slater, and who also is in. She was in Sergeant Bilko too, right? I think so. Was she in Sergeant Bilko? Was Helen Slater in? I think so. I think Helen Slater was in Sergeant Bilko too. TV show wise, he's been in a bunch of stuff. He hasn't really at the end of his career, he was in a bunch of TV movies, and was on like a couple different ones and twos. But he ran for 60 episodes on Car 54. Where Are You? As Officer Francis Muldoon, from 1961 to 1963, and obviously in 1964 to 1966, he was on 70 episodes and produced The Munsters, which was obviously he played Herman Munster in that one, as well as in the Red Skelton Show. He played Herman Munster. The Danny Kaye Show, he played Herman Munster, being in the role of Herman Munster, because those you can look up those don't matter. What the hell is the name of the? It is okay. The TV movie, 1981, The Munsters Revenge. I was wrong. It is Revenge. Couldn't remember if it was The Munsters Return or what it was. The Munsters Revenge, which was later released. And then he was supposed to. He passed away in 1993. Yeah. But he was, if I'm not mistaken, they were supposed to reboot the Munsters in like 1991 or 92. It never got off the ground. And later, many moons later, like a decade later, they redid it as Mockingbird Lane, which is actually pretty fun. Was it Mockingbird Lane, right? Is that what they called it? Hold on, I'll tell you right now, everybody. The reboot. Where is the reboot? Yeah, Mockingbird Lane. I was right. Mockingbird Lane. Which should have been amazing. It should have been huge, but it wasn't. It was developed by Brian Fuller, who did one of my favorite TV shows, Pushing Daisies, as well as many different things. Brian Fuller he's done a ton of different stuff. Till this day, he's actually doing stuff. But it was supposed to be. It did not do very good ratings. It should have been amazing, but it was not. But I think really what it comes down to is they picked the wrong people to be in it. I digress. That's not what we're here talking about. Brian Fuller, by the way, if you don't know who that is, Brian Fuller has done a lot of different things. He started off as a writer on Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, and then most recently he did Star Trek Discovery, as well as American Gods, Hannibal on NBC. He is doing... he has something else coming out soon, too. He's also a writer on Heroes. Oh, my God. There's something else I saw he had going on, too. I don't remember what it is. But anyways, it's Brian Fuller. It's for another day. But yeah, Fred Gwynne. Fred Gwynne's amazing. He's been in a lot of different things. Obviously, Herman Munster is his most notable role, as well as being in Pet Sematary, the first of the adaptations of the Stephen King novel, where he played Judd Crandall. Anyways, that's Fred Gwynne. Next up is Lane Smith. I mentioned him earlier. Lane Smith has done a lot of different things. Obviously, he was in this, but that's not all he's done. He had, not arguably, he had a really good run of I would say 4, if not 5 solid movies back to back to back to back to back. And they are this. Well, actually, there's a bunch, but it started with My Cousin Vinny. He played D.A. Jim Trotter III. Followed up by that, he was in Mighty Ducks. He played Coach Jack Riley, who was the coach of the rival team to the Mighty Ducks. He was in Distinguished Gentleman, like I mentioned earlier. He was Dick Dodge in that movie. Then he was the father and son-in-law. Yes, the one with Pauly Shore. Fantastic movie. Then he was in The Scout with oh my God, what Brendan Fraser and Albert Brooks. He was in that one as well. Legend of Bagger Vance, he was in that one. But yeah, those 5 movies. So My Cousin Vinny, Mighty Ducks, Distinguished Gentleman, Son-in-Law, and The Scout. All really good movies. He was in those ones. Son-in-Law, obviously, you could throw out of there if you really want to be dumb, but those would be one of the ones I would mention. But he was in Air America. He was in Red Dawn. TV show-wise, I don't think he was anything long-term that I know of. Nothing I can think of. But, well, I don't know what Good Sports is, but 1991, he was in 21 episodes of it. Oh, that's right. Never mind. That's what I was thinking of. He was Perry White in the Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman. I ran for 80. He was in 84 episodes of it. The one with Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher. So yeah, he's Perry White in that one. It's, I can't forget about that. He was in Alien Nation, the TV show remake, right? Or not remake, reboot. Is it a reboot technically? I don't know. Did a voice on King of the Hill. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I can think of. So Lane Smith, Lon Smith, I'm not too sure how to pronounce it, but he's pretty awesome in most things that I ever saw him in. So, that's that. So My Cousin Vinny, real quick to wrap up the episode, to tell you what it's about. So My Cousin Vinny is American comedy. I don't know why. Again, I went back to that one. This is the first line I saw. So basically, Ralph Macchio's character Bill Gambini and Mitchell Whitfield's Stan Rothenstein are driving across country from New York to L.A. to go to college. They thought, oh, let's go through the South. It's pretty down there from what I hear, and it'll be fun. They get wrapped up in a supposed murder case where they are supposedly the murderers of a guy at the guy that works at the convenience store named C.O.D.Y. And it is a thing where they accidentally Ralph Macchio's character accidentally steals a can of tuna, so they think the police are arresting them for shoplifting. Turns out they're being arrested for the murder of the attendant from the convenience store, and oops, all things go from there. Then Vinny Gambini comes in. He is, of course, played by Joe Pesci. He's the cousin of Bill, and he's going to do them a favor. He is essentially brand new he's never actually had a case before, and he's a personal injury lawyer. And he basically takes the case on and has to kind of fib his way around things, and then stuff ensues and funny stuff and other stuff, and he eventually, spoiler alert, wins. Watch the movie. It's hilarious. You should check it out. I own it on iTunes, so I watched it there, but I think you might be able to watch it other places. I'm not too sure, and I did not check before this. Let me look real quick here while I'm stalling for time, because you might be able to watch it on other things. Definitely not on Netflix, so not Netflix. Let's see, what else can you watch My Cousin Vinny on besides iTunes? Apparently just iTunes. You might be able to get another digital media, not just iTunes, but I don't see it available to stream anywhere other than probably for purchase. But you should check it out if you haven't seen it. Give it a old renty rent somewhere on the digital media services out there. But check out My Cousin Vinny. Fantastic movie. Super nostalgic. I've seen this movie. I mean, I'm not even joking you, probably 100 times. I was quoting lines, making Paige question her life choices. It was pretty fun. But movie makes me laugh. It's just a really good movie all around. I love the fish out of water story that is thrown on its head in this particular movie. So that's it for this week's episode of The Awesome C.O.D.Y. As usual, I have been your host, C.O.D.Y. Today we're talking about My Cousin Vinny as part of February's theme of awesome nostalgic comedies. I will catch you next week. Same talk time, same talk channel for Top Secret. And I will talk to you all next week. And like I always say at the end of these, let's be awesome.